let's talk about Iran. JD Vance gave the real breakdown of what happened at the talks the other day, and it's actually pretty fascinating. Let's hear what JD had to say about it.
Made clear where we're willing, again, to be accommodating, and we've made clear where we absolutely need to see the nuclear material come out of the country of Iran. Now, what's interesting, Brett, about this is that in the process of doing this negotiation, I do think that we acquired some knowledge about how the Iranians are negotiating. And this is ultimately why we left Pakistan, because what we figured out is that they were unable, I think the team that was there was unable to cut a deal, and they had to go back to Tehran, either from the supreme leader or somebody else, and actually get approval to the terms.
Did you hear what he just said? He said that the Iranians sent someone who couldn't even cut a deal. Do you know how insulting that is, with all the pains we went through to make this happen? Went to Pakistan, to Islamabad to make this negotiations happen, and they couldn't even send people who could make decisions. That's pathetic. It's insulting, and it shows you how not serious they are. No wonder Trump was ready to just drop the hammer on them.
That we had set. So again, whether we have further conversations, whether we ultimately get to a deal, I really think the ball is in the Iranian court, because we put a lot on the table. We actually made very clear what our red lines were. We also made clear, Brett, that we actually would be very happy. The President of the United States has said he would be very happy if Iran was treated like a normal country, if it had a normal economy, if its people were able to prosper and thrive. But in order for Iran to be a normal country economically, it's going to have to be a normal country from the perspective of not pursuing a nuclear weapon, and it's going to have to be a normal country from not pursuing terrorism. And so there really is, I think, a grand deal to be had here, but it's up to the Iranians, I think, to take the next step.
Basically, at this point, we're going to be like, hey, we're going to probably have to just destroy you guys, because the nukes and terrorists, funding the terrorists, they're not going to be allowed to do that. City of London's not going to allow them to make that deal. So unless the Iranian people rise up and overthrow this regime and come in with a new, like these guys, they are controlled. They're proxies. It will have to be a new regime, and Trump's not going to send boots on the ground. The siege of Strait of Hormuz proves that. This is Trump being so genius. I mean, he's navigated this in such a brilliant way, because he knows his base will not accept us sending in 100,000 troops and sitting in there for 6 months, a year, get drawn out. That's not acceptable. That's where he will actually start to lose a large portion of his base. So Trump's genius is in sieging them, cutting them off. But this is going to slowly force them out. The people are going to rise up at some point, or they're going to get weaker and weaker and weaker, and then we're just going to topple them with more airstrikes. It's really fascinating to watch this play out, but I think what we learned by them sending their JV team and our hard lines, because, see, City of London cannot lose Iran having a nuke, or pursuing it, I should say, because that's their destabilization key for the Middle East constantly. This is how they can constantly pull the triggers for war. This is how they can constantly keep things friction with Israel. This is how they can hopefully someday get to that deterrent, so Iran could be permanently set up there for them. And then the terror part, they got to keep doing that, because that's how they keep manipulating things in other areas of the Middle East, and also keep fighting with Israel. Now, Israel, the Mossad political aspect of Israel, not all the people, okay, I'm not dogging on the Israelis, but their leadership, okay, and a good portion of obviously their intelligence agencies, it's all MI6 controlled, or I should say strongly MI6 influenced. And that's a part of it. They're pitting them against each other, because it's good for them that we keep going in, spending all this money. They keep getting to control the oil prices, the fluctuations of shipping. And you notice that Trump cut that off first. That was one of the first things he did. Lloyd's of London broke their first contract in 330 years to get out. Trump stepped in on that. And so City of London's panicking because they're this close to losing one of their most powerful assets in the entire world in Iran. And they don't care about these people. They're going to make them hold on to the last minute. But Trump is doubling down even more. Say Iran's Navy, this is Trump's Truth Today. Iran's Navy is laying at the bottom of the sea, completely obliterated. 158 ships. What we have not hit are their small number of what they call fast attack ships, because we did not consider them much of a threat. Warning, if any of these ships come anywhere close to our blockade, they'll be immediately eliminated using the same system of kill we use against the drug dealers on boats at sea. It's almost like they did that on purpose all that time to show us what they could do to scare these other nations. It is quick and brutal. P.S. 98.2% of drugs coming in the U.S. by ocean or sea have stopped. Thank you for your attention to this matter. That's just him flat out flexing, saying good luck. With us holding that blockade, see, they're cleaning out the mines right now. And if they bring in those ships, this can draw them out so we can hit them. Because otherwise, there's the small ships, they might be easy to hide, you know. They're smaller. Who knows? The Iranians, they're crafty. They are. They're not as powerful as everybody said they are, but they still are crafty. This draws them out. Take them out even more. The Navy's gone. All the big ships are gone. But, whatever else they got. I think Trump is purposely drawing out a lot of this fire. I really do. We were always hearing about the super duper secret special hypersonic missiles that are just going to obliterate us. Scott Ritter, the pedophile, telling us about how he knows more about Iran than Trump does. All this is going to happen. Never happened. But they do still have missiles. Draw them out. They obviously haven't been a threat. They keep getting shot down, no matter what. I think that's what Trump's doing. He's letting them expend their energy, weakening themselves. And now he's choking them out. Look at this. Okay. Look what Jesse Waters reports on what's going on in the Strait and how this is the impact it's having. This is pretty awesome.
It's probably the knockout punch. The Iranians are trying to outlast us. The longer the war goes on, the longer their regime can hold off a revolution. But their economy is experiencing a crippling depression. This blockade's costing the regime almost $400 million a day. That's $13 billion a month. Plus, the Iranian...
Did you hear that? $13 billion a month. $400 million a day is how much money they're losing because of this blockade.
Iranians can only store oil for about 2 weeks before they have to start shutting off wells. The Iranians can't outlast us. The world's turning to us for energy. Over 120 empty oil tankers are on their way to the Gulf of America.
Many ships are heading to our country right now as we speak to load up with the best, really, I guess you could say, somebody said the best and sweetest. I don't know exactly what sweet is, but when it relates to oil, it's a good thing. But they're coming to our country right now. There are many boats coming to our country.
Iranian steel and petrochemical industries have been wiped out. Without oil revenue, all they can sell are pistachios to Pakistanis. It could get worse. The president's still weighing limited airstrikes, saying a number of additional targets are very easy to hit. The Iranians are losing their cards here. And Vance, who just spent 20 hours negotiating with them, says that we're in the driver's seat.
2 weeks.
Now the Iranian oil blockade is probably the...
Do you guys hear that? 2 weeks is all they have for stockpiling, and then they have to shut off their wells. Once they shut those down, you got to get them going again afterwards. Trump has all the leverage. What was the ceasefire? 2 weeks. Now, they got 5 days out of it because of negotiations, but Trump blockade called out 2 week ceasefire. By the time the ceasefire is still on, okay, he's trying to goad them into breaking it, obviously. But if they don't break it, and then we come out of the ceasefire in another, 7 more days, 8 more days, well, then they only have like 5 days left until their oil is fully stockpiled, and they have to shut down their wells. The clock is ticking. It's about to all fall apart for them. Here's a little more on it.
At the same time, the numbers that you laid out, Iran has about, 200.
Sorry about the sound on these guys. The X clips don't always give the best sound.
At the same time, the numbers that you laid out, Iran has about, $280 million a day of export that goes out of the Persian Gulf and Strait of Hormuz. About $160 million in import that comes back a day. So you're cutting that out. And if that is not happening, then what's going to happen? Iran's going to have to store its oil that is extracting on offshore storage facilities or on tankers. And, I think within 13, 14, 2 weeks, Iran's going to run out of the ability to store oil. And then they're going to have to drop their extraction, which is going to pose a permanent long-term damage to its ability to extract oil. And that can lead into some kind of a friction within National Iranian Oil Tanker Company,
Permanent long-term damage. Guys, their entire economy depends on this oil. There's not much else going on in Iran. Okay. I know it's 90 million people, but it's desert. It's not a land of milk and honey. Okay. It's just not. And so it is oil. It's oil and imports. You heard what he said, 100 billion plus of import, or 100 million. Did he say million or billion? 100 million, whatever, of imports coming in every day as well. All that blocked off. And they need that money. They need that. That's their food. That's their supplies. This is a country that is completely built on importing, exporting. That's how you survive in the desert. And Trump is this siege isn't going to have to last very long until they are severely weakened. Look at this right here. Blockade collapses Iran's imports to zero because there's no cash from oil exports to pay for anything. Sends Iran's currency into devaluation spiral and the economy into hyperinflation. I mean, look at that. Iran's monthly imports from all these different countries. And it's just going to drop off a cliff. And then you got China. China's massive economic exposure to the Middle East. China spent over $269 billion on investments and construction contracts since 2005. Saudi Arabia is the largest recipient. They're fine. UAE at $48 billion and Iraq at $40 billion. Chinese investments in construction contracts in Iran have reached $25 billion. You think the Chinese are going to be happy about losing that money? Meanwhile, Middle East trade with China has more than doubled since 2017 to $317 billion in 2024. Middle East trade with China, 1/3 of $1 trillion last year. Nearly 4 times the $85 billion in trade with the U.S. You hear that? The Middle East trades with China 4 times more than the United States. Who do you think this is hurting the most? It's Iran directly, and then you have City of London and China, our 2 largest enemies. This is just, hey, where could we hit that would knock out 4 birds with 1 stone? Iran? Cool, let's do it. That's what's happening right now. These countries, they're scrambling. Our enemies don't know what to do. Meanwhile, we're getting stronger. We're the number one energy exporter in the world. Natural gas and oil. It's not even close. Not even close. We're more than double the next closest person on oil, and we're more than double the next 2 or 3 closest people combined for natural gas now. It's insane. Like, Trump is creating a boom here that's just going to explode our economy. Just give it a while. Glenn Beck calls it out, and kudos to Glenn. He's done some good work lately. Says, what if the real story with Iran, by the way, he hasn't gone FAGA. So I also give Glenn kudos to that. I'm never 100% sure with Glenn. He was a DeSantis guy. He was kind of quick to jump off of the Trump train, but right now he's being one of the loyal ones. So you never know. I watch these guys carefully, but credit to good work when there's good work being done. What if the real story with Iran isn't about ending a terror regime? It's about no longer needing the Middle East. This is a big part of it. I believe the reset Trump was talking about, we're already starting to see it with the tankers coming to the Gulf of America. If America becomes the Western world's main supplier of oil, that means no more reliance on the Strait of Hormuz, no more worrying about choke points controlled by regimes that see chaos as a strategy, no more constant threat if a tanker gets hit, your gas price jumps $1 or $2 overnight. If energy becomes more regional and hemisphere based, our wars for oil in the Middle East come to an end. Now that, guys, is a very true, important statement. Trump, what did he say he was going to do? End the forever wars. Where have our forever wars been? In the Middle East. And we've also had a couple other forever wars. We've had forever financial war with City of London. And we've had forever war. And by forever war, I just mean decades and decades of war. And we've had forever intelligence wars with communism, which is also the globalists, which is also City of London. He's ending the forever wars. The intelligence wars, the financial war we're dominating, and the military war. He's ending them. He's going regional. We're becoming sovereign. We're becoming more powerful than ever before. And he's exposed how weak all these other people were that we were supposed to. That's part of the intelligence war. They psyoped us into thinking that China was even close to as powerful as us. That's what Steve Bannon's out there saying. It's a lie. China has been exposed. They're completely weak compared to us. We are decades ahead of China at this point, especially militarily, especially financially. Sure, they brought in a lot of money, but we've exposed their flaws, and they are legion. City of London, their grips, their tentacles getting popped off everywhere. Just, they're losing it. We're bringing it all home. We're bringing our military home from NATO. We're starting to decouple. We're starting to expose that. We're stabilizing the Middle East permanently soon. These things are miracles, guys. This is how Trump is winning and doing stuff that everybody who's blackpilling, I gotta believe you just don't see it. You either don't see it or you don't believe it because you want to stay blackpilling, because blackpilling is all you know. You've been disappointed for so long. You just want to stay in your misery. Misery loves company. You want to go hang out with Tucker Crapson and, Megan Smelly now, the witch, Candace Owens. You want to hang out with those people and feel special because they're insiders. They know stuff. Trust me, bro. How is anybody blackpilling at this point? When you see what Trump's actually doing, it's like, ask yourself, who the hell are you listening to? Let the countries in the Middle East figure out what to do with the Strait of Hormuz and oil over there. We'll worry about our own hemisphere. Abso-freaking-lutely. And here's the EU. Here's how they're responding. Listen to this genius plan by Ursula von der Leyen, EU president, I believe. Listen to their genius. This is the toughness of Europe, guys. This is our allies. This is our special relationship that just is always going to be there for us, that has fought the world wars with us, that is so tough and strong and so cultured and so principled over time, and just the great, the basket of modern society. It's like, wow, these people are so amazing. Here's their proud response to how Europe will respond to their energy crisis and what's going on in Iran.
Is how can we reduce the demand? Because, of course, the least expensive energy is the energy that is not used. We should reduce demand while fully respecting the free choice of consumers. So we are looking at energy efficiency levels such as renovation of buildings or the renewal of equipment in industrial operations. These are some measures, but there are also other measures that we will present, or will be the core of the presentation of the communication next.
How pathetic is this? Here's how we're going to do it, guys. We're going to use less. You're not going to be able to heat and cool your homes as much. Oh, of course you're going to have free choice, but we are going to regulate the snot out of you and completely ruin your lives. But this is the cheapest energy, is the one you don't use. Stay home, be miserable, lockdowns. The rumor going around is for UK and EU is that they're going to use energy as a new excuse for a new round of lockdowns. That is damn sure not coming here. But it tells you how pathetic they are, guys, and how far they're coming along, because they're getting desperate, and they know their people are starting to rise up and get fed up. Look at what's going on in Ireland right now. The people are starting to fight back. They're getting scared. And so Trump is just defeating these people so thoroughly. Excuse me. They're defeating these people so thoroughly that this is where they're getting to. Desperation zone. NATO, of course, has now refused to join the Strait of Hormuz blockade. Britain and France have declined involvement. Macron's proposing a multinational mission to restore navigation instead. Oh, good job. That's real tough of you. NATO, guys, it's about time to say bye-bye. Now, I get pushback on this all the time. Well, Trump can't pull out unilaterally. Well, true. Congress did vote a law to not let him do that. But here's the problem with that. The Constitution trumps any law passed by Congress. And the Constitution says that the president can unilaterally pull out of any treaty. So if Trump just does it, yeah, Congress can cry about it, but it'll go to the Supreme Court and they'll uphold it. It's pretty easy. Now, NATO is I'll tell you right now, the only reason we're still in NATO. The only reason we're still in NATO is that the American people, especially the people 50 and up, who remember the Soviet Union, who remember hiding under their desks doing drills for nukes, most of them have a fond memory of NATO. They still believe the old world order of us versus the Soviet Union. And so Trump, he's waiting until he feels he can fully get us out and still maintain support, because you have to have a certain level of support to get stuff done. You just do. Otherwise, the American people will make sure you lose your power. That's because he's not a king, by the way. But he's building that case. And every day NATO does stupid stuff like this, it makes it more and more obvious. Remember, you can't tell the people, you have to show them. And then Trump, they unveiled their next 5D chess move today. Somebody got mad at me today for saying 4D chess move. They're like, chess is always 4D, bro. Like, shut up. This is the people just want to like criticize. Everybody's always looking for a reason to be upset. Today, the United States has announced a defense partnership with Indonesia. Why is this a big deal? Well, we just locked up treaty partnership over the Strait of Malacca, which most of you probably never heard of it. But John Conrad, merchant marine ship captain, reports President Trump remains laser focused on securing the world's choke point. Strait of Malacca is unequivocally more important than Hormuz. Malacca is the #1 most traveled strait in the world for shipping. #1. Hormuz is 2. Way more important, and Trump's already locked up that. So what have we done since Trump came in? We got Panama Canal back, took it right back from China, said, screw you guys. We never should have lost it. China has now turned it over to us. Panama's made sure it's all ours. Took, 6 months to a year to work out, but it's been done. Strait of Hormuz, Trump is just blockade and taking control of, and we're now in partnership with Indonesia about Strait of Malacca. Trump has just secured the 3 most important areas for shipping in the entire world, so nobody can mess with it. And I know the Hormuz thing is still playing out, but it's looking pretty good. On one side of the Strait is Singapore, Malaysia, and Thailand. On the other side is Indonesia. That's a big deal, friends. That's a big deal. And so if you can't see it yet, I don't know what to tell you, because it's pretty obvious what Trump's doing. Setting us up to be completely sovereign, everything needed, everything in place so nobody can mess with us. None of the big bads, China, City of London, Russia, North Korea is just whatever, Iran, none of them can disrupt us anymore. BRICS is so defeated and torn apart now, it's a joke. That was a bad joke that BRICS was ever gonna challenge us, BRICS nations. He's just completely wiped that all off the map. And now that all that's done, see, everybody's like, focus on the economy here at home, Trump, stop doing this. Dummies. You can't focus on the economy here at home unless you've made sure that everything worldwide is good to go. Because if we're going to be generationally wealthy country, golden age, we need to be able to trade. Because we need tariff revenue if we ever want to get rid of the income tax. We need tariff revenue to still be a wealthy country, fund our government, get more taxes back to the people, get our money back. And we need to be able to sell our goods to other countries because we're going to have excess if we ever want to truly get revenue flowing at the apex. Trump has just secured all of that. Yeah, I have a feeling the economy is going to be really good in the next 6 months to a year. Let's watch and wait, but I'm excited about it. I'm feeling very excited about it. Once you see it, you can't unsee it.